Hi, this is Brian Lawler. I'm here with TechCrunch TV. Today we're here talking to Brian Lamb of Satari, and you guys are the makers of the Swivl. So tell us a little bit about what the Swivl is. You started out about a year ago?
Yeah, we actually first started shipping the Swivl, our first product, about a year ago. We actually started the company and started working on this way back in 2009.
Okay.
And then first debuted the idea to the public in a crowdfunding campaign late 2010. And then we're working on it pretty diligently from there to the point where we launched the product.
Okay, so you crowdfund this whole thing. You
Yep.
went on Kickstarter, was it? And then
The first campaign we did was on Indiegogo, actually.
Indiegogo,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and for us it was a great way to get some validation around where the needs were for the market and some support from a financial perspective to move things to the next level. We also brought in an angel round after that to help complete the product.
Okay, excellent. And what exactly was the first Swivl?
Well, the first Swivl was the idea actually came about when we were researching people using video in sports applications, and they would use it for training for golf swings.
Okay.
And as soon as the camera would come on, they'd start whiffing the ball, and we thought, why is that? And what we've basically discovered is people lock up on screen. So when there's a cameraman there, they get nervous, they tighten up, they can't speak well, they can't swing a golf club. And what that generated was our desire to create a robotic cameraman. And so the first version of it was very basic that we crowdfunded. It had a panning and following functionality. But then after crowdfunding, we learned that there were some other features people wanted, and we included all of that into the first version of the Swivl.
Okay, excellent. And now you've got new product for, extending this beyond just smartphone market, right, to
That's right.
other products. So tell me a little bit about, what the new stuff is.
Yeah, well, so we launched the original Swivl, and promptly after that we started getting phone calls from people saying, why didn't you design it for DSLR? Why didn't you design it for iPad? And that drumbeat kept going for months and months and months, and then when we finally had time to take a look at that, we decided that we couldn't ignore this, and we needed to then take the platform and extend it for other larger and heavier devices and different applications, because we found a great audience for the original Swivl, but there's also other applications we can address.
Okay, excellent. So let's jump into a demo. Why don't you show me how this works? And we've got an iPad here on the Swivl.
Okay, so this is one of three main use cases of the Swivl. Of course, the original Swivl functionality of using a marker to track a subject and using that as a remote control is still enabled in the product. Now what we're showing here today is being able to take that same motion base and use a separate mobile device and use that as both a teleconferencing connection point as well as a control point. So what you see here is Vlad, my co-founder, is actually steering the Swivl through our Alpha teleconferencing app.
Okay.
He's able to point it at different subjects from remote locations through a Wi-Fi connection on the mobile device.
Okay.
Right now it's just enabled in 2 axes, but as we get closer to market, we'll add more control functionality into that and basically allow you to have interactive conversations. And it's really ideal for what we think of as blended environments where there's multiple people meeting and there's another person in remote locations, whether it's for consumer or for work applications.
Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit about some of the features that you built in for video conferencing or other things that
Well, so one of the big ones is our old design had a cable control interface, and we've gotten rid of that, and now we have a Bluetooth connection there.
Okay.
That's important for a couple things. One is it passes control signals nicely, but it also enables us to use not only an iOS device but an Android device to do the same thing.
Okay.
So now we've got a little bit more of a broad base of devices we can support. And that really enables that. The last part of that is really in the app, where the app has the control hooks to receive commands from another mobile device and steer it around.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so right now we've got this for the iPad, and we can also use this for SLRs.
Yeah, that's the cool part about the Bluetooth connection there, because basically I can now take that iPad off of the Swivl, put a DSLR camera on top of the Swivl, and my iPad turns into a command and control interface for the camera. And you can pass not only steering commands, but you can also do settings within the camera. You can get remote previews out of the camera onto your iPad and then fire the trigger.
Okay.
So we think there's a lot of really cool professional imaging applications for this.
Okay, so for instance, like what sort of use case with a DSLR?
Well, so I think there's the one that's become very popular that everyone is looking at now is time-lapse photography. So having a basic sequencing between motion and imaging to be able to get a good time lapse. Another one that I think is really interesting is when you want to get multi-camera shots, just like we're doing in this video here. Now you can set up a Swivl as your second cameraman while you man a first camera. And you can do all the things you're doing with a camera in front of you. I think it's also interesting for applications where there's long exposure settings and you don't want to touch the device as you're providing control inputs to it as well. So there's a lot of, I think that's the first 3 use cases we've heard, but I think there's a lot more coming.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So, you know, let's also take a look at how this works with the DSLR on the Swivl. Okay, so now we have sort of a DSLR setup here, and we've got your co-founder over there with an iPad set to control it and show us how it actually works.
Yeah, so let's quickly run through how it actually works from a user standpoint. So what Vlad will show you is we've got the app set up through Bluetooth, steering the Swivl from the iPad, and he's able to, by hitting arrows, steer the camera around to different locations, and even fire the trigger and take a picture after he's done that. Something that we're also working on is being able to pass remote previews through the Bluetooth connection so that you can actually see what you're shooting and really frame your shot from other locations. So really neat functionality that enables. What we're doing technically to enable that is, of course, we have our Bluetooth connection that he's using. But we've also engineered an interface over a PTP protocol so that we can connect to the cameras and really access all of their full controls. So the app that we come out with at launch will have a minimum set of controls that you can adjust and change in your camera. So that's what we're working on.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, and so this time around, you've got 2 products, and you're going to be sort of starting up another crowdfunding campaign, right, on Kickstarter?
Absolutely. So the first time we did crowdfunding, it was a really positive experience for us, not just from a monetary standpoint, but from a market data gathering standpoint. We learned a lot about what people wanted to see in the product and ended up building a lot of the features around that feedback. And so, you know, we're at the point in our development where we can share what we're working on and show that off and start to have that interaction with prospective customers so that we can then say we don't get the specs right, we can tweak those and adjust those on our course to market. So from our perspective, crowdfunding is really the right way to do product development in this day and age, where you have some interaction early and some support early, and then you develop around where you get that support. So we're really excited to share this with people and start that process off.
Okay, cool. And so tell me a little bit about the different products and the pricing.
Yeah, so we have 2 versions. One's priced so it's more affordable for the consumer set, and one that's a slightly more professional version, but both are pretty affordable. Our basic one, which you see in white there, is retail $149. We're going to crowdfund at a lower price as an advantage for supporting the project. And then the premium version is going to be retail $229, and we'll crowdfund less as well there.
Okay.
The main difference between the two is the premium version carries what we call the marker, which does the tracking. It's also a wireless mic and a remote control interface. And the premium one also has speakers built into it for better teleconferencing experiences. So it carries a few more features, which is what justifies the higher cost there.
Okay, excellent. And you're not just building the products yourselves, but you're also going to be putting out an SDK?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So particularly as we get into iPad applications as well as DSLR applications, you know, we'll be aware of a set of those applications and can develop a minimum set of features for those. But we fully expect that other people will have better ideas of the applications they want to develop for. So very early in this process, actually, we're going to release an SDK so that people can start developing around that and try to have that time for the market launch of our product. The great thing about the fact that this isn't our first product is we actually already have an SDK. So about a month after it launches, we can actually ship them an existing Swivl and that SDK to help them start developing around. So there's really some benefits to working with it.
Okay, awesome. Well, good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing the products when they're released.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks again.